G'day team, Mike Oldfellas Travels. I'm actually in Leonora Caravan Park, so I've been prospecting for a while. It's probably fair to say, look, it's been my worst year ever prospecting. It really has. You know, like in my first year when I wasn't full-time, you know, 3.5 months, I was over 3 times the amount of gold that I pulled this time. And, oh, before I forget, I forgot where I was now, but I know I was doing a call out. So call out to Jerry, and caught up and had a coffee with him. Had a really good chat actually. Thanks for catching up, Jerry. Good guy, and yeah, we had a good chat, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to catch up and maybe have a beer next time when I'm back in Perth. Another call out to Andrew, who just happened to be walking past Caravan Park, and he called out to me, and he's followed me on my channel as well, and we had a good chat. Thanks for reaching out, guys, because it's always good to put a face to, you know, somebody that's I've chatted, that follows me and I've chatted online. So thanks for that, and it was great talking to both of you. And I look forward to chatting to you again, actually. Oh, he's coming back this way, so we'll just pause for a minute. Okay, so Murphy's Law. As soon as you go start a video, you know, everyone comes out of the woodwork. So I'm not going to repeat myself, but that was the 3rd attempt I've had it giving a shout out to you guys, but I think I've nailed it. I'm just going to reiterate what I've spoken about before, but very briefly, and that is, you know, there was a bit of a financial crisis, to be honest, about 18 months ago, and when this event, you know, changed the whole direction of retirement for me. You know, at the end of the day, I think in 3 months, 3.5, 4 months of my first year, I found over 3 times the amount of, you know, gold is what I found this year. And I've been going hard too. But, I mean, that's prospecting, guys. And it is how it is, you know. And I suppose, looking back, I shouldn't have looked forward, thinking, you know, expecting to do so well, because I know very well that you can have you can get a bad run at times, but the year's not over. I have still got a week or 2 left, and you never know, I could walk across a 3-ounce patch. That'd be nice. But yeah, so things are a bit tight. I had, you know, like I did need to do some work on the car. You know, I really need some decent bash plates. The old car's taken a little bit of a flogging. Not that it's done any damage. Well, the plastic dash plate that covers the transmission is a little bit knocked around, but there's no damage that's been done. But you know, I could have used some decent bash plates. I could have used suspension lift. Definitely could have used the transmission cooler. But I've got the Scan Gauge 3 now, and I use that primarily. I always like to monitor EGT's engine temperature, and in this case, transmission temperature, because it's the first automatic I've had in a 4-wheel drive, and I know you have to watch the transmission temperatures, and I won't allow, you know, my transmission. I don't know at what time the light comes on to say that your transmission's too hot, you know, in the from the ECU in the standard build of the vehicle, but it's never come on because I don't allow my transmission to get over 100 degrees. I've got an alarm set, so if I don't notice and it gets to 100 degrees, the Scan Gauge 3, you know, will beep and throw a alert at me to say that we've reached 100 degrees. But because I don't have transmission cooler, and it's all fair and well, although having said that, these transmissions still tend to run around about 91 to 93 degrees, even when you're not towing. You know, if you're pushing along at 110k, so you do need to monitor it. So I'll monitor it, and I ensure that, you know, my transmission's never been over 102 degrees. I know that for a fact, and that was only on one occasion. I also monitor the load on the engine, and you know, I try to manage between EGT's load, transmission temperature, somewhere in that when I'm towing. You know, you need to look after a vehicle if you want it to look after you. So I really need transmission cooler, but you know, they're not super expensive to buy, I suppose. We're still talking $1,000 to have one fitted. You know, so, you know, transmission cooler, you know, suspension, you know, bash plates. You're not going to get much change at $6,000, I don't think. In the past, those things were just all being done, but you know, I'm not in a position to do those now, and so the D-Max is running pretty standard. So, you know, it's been a bit of a disappointment, to be honest, that I haven't been able to do much work to the car and get it up to speed the way I'd like it. There's not a lot of money to spend. I don't want to go and spend 20 grand, but it'd be nice to, I would have really liked to do the suspension, get a set of spotties on, and transmission cooler, and get those bash plates done. But that's a real concern for me. I don't want to be damaging anything that I have to pay for myself, because funds are tight, like I say. But at the end of the day, I suppose I've done all right on the Gold compared to some people, and I've done pretty decently compared to others, but I haven't done as well as what I wanted to do. So I'm well off of target, of quota, and bring myself back into a place of comfort, let's say. And because it all comes about on where my channel's going. And old Barnes had to have his teeth done, virtually no change out of $2 grand, but had to be done. He's my best mate. With him, I don't know what I'd do, like, he's the one that keeps me rolling since my wife passed away. Without him, I don't know what I've got. I mean, I've got really good family, and I'm so thankful to my sister. She lets me stay at her place when I'm in Perth, Yeah, that's about it for prospecting, this year. I've got about a week and a bit left. It hasn't been great. It's been good enough. It's been at the very low threshold of what I needed to achieve, so I've only just, made that. I've enjoyed the trip, but the thing is when you're kind of focused on needing, to generate a little bit of extra revenue through finding gold, and you're not doing well, and like this year we had some terrible weather. I lost an awning, through a storm. There was 2 weeks in Perth with an insurance claim to get that sorted. We had some really awful weather this year, very cold, a lot of rain, and when you're not finding gold, it's just me and Barnes in the camper, and the awning was destroyed, and the only way to get away from the elements was a rooftop tent. It'll work out eventually. I mean, I've lived all my life by the old, Aussie, she'll be right, mate, and I think she'll be right in the end, but it's a painful, it's a painful roller coaster ride at the moment. Yeah, so it has been a little bit of a struggle to, to get videos out recently, and I just haven't seemed to have the mojo to, and I'm not sure. Excuse me. I'm not sure if I've even enjoyed the last 6 months. I'm having a bit of struggle with, seeing the purpose of it all. It's a funny thing, like I've been thinking about this for a bit, and I just happened to see, a video from a fella I follow. He's not a prospector, he's a tourer camping, bloke, nice guy. I've met him, and I've met him twice actually, but I've followed him for a while, and he was just talking about exactly, he hasn't had a video for a while, and he's talking about exactly the same thing, and I thought, geez, that's the same space I'm in. And so, I mean, it's all part of how many, of uploading, doing videos and editing videos and uploading them, like, you got to buy gear, that's expensive. There's a lot to do with a YouTube channel. I know people say you can make it just on a phone, but I've given that a crack, and to do it the way I want to do it, it hasn't seemed to work for me. Maybe I'm just not phone techo savvy enough, but that's how it is. So without rabbiting on too much about how well I've done on the gold and not having a video up for a bit, I'm not sure how my channel's going to go forward. I mean, I really want to keep my YouTube channel going, and I've had a few different mindsets on where it's going to go. I mean, at the end of the day, I really don't make any money out of YouTube. I don't know how these... I suppose that's another thing. I've become a little bit disillusioned with YouTube. Not that I want to make a lot of money. It'd be good to make, enough money to cover maybe fuel and Starlink each month. Starlink packed it in. And, of course, like, I'm not rushing out to buy one of them because they're expensive. I won't go with the Gen 2 again. I'll, when I do go Starlink again, I will go mini and I will mount it on the vehicle. But it's not that expensive, the Starlink, so much. It's the fact there's $200 a month, guys, and $200 a month is a lot, you know, when you're budgeting really tight. And all about emergency funds now. And Starlink's pretty expensive, and by no means, you know, YouTube. I mean, a few months here I made $110, $120, but I think all up, in the last year, I think the last 5 months I averaged, no, it wouldn't be 5 months, it'd be probably 6 or 7 months, I might have averaged $100 a month. But of course, the last 3 weeks, this month, I think it's going to be $19. Yeah, so YouTube's by no means an income earner, and I think I've become a bit disillusioned by the whole YouTube thing. You know, like, for me it was about, you know, I suppose, not really advertising, you know, any particular thing. And it's just, I started out, so it was just about the old fella, about the life, because I wanted the grandkids and, you know, my family to be able to see what I was up to, because I was, you know, initially I was off travelling. And I wanted a record for myself, because I'm well aware as you get older, and already I've looked back on videos and thought, I've forgotten all about that, you know, visits to places or a good patch that I found. You know, so I reflect back on it myself, but it'll be a good resource going on. I mean, nobody will be interested in my videos now, but in 100 years, maybe people will be really interested. But I've become a bit disillusioned about the whole YouTube thing also, and it was the same topic that, you know, old mate was talking about. Look, I'm probably going to get a bit of flack over this, but it's got to be said. But, you know, and good luck to him. You know, if I was born with a beautiful body and all the assets you need as a female, I'd probably use them as well. You know, like, because, look, don't take offence, guys. I know there's going to be, I could lose subscribers out of this, but, you know, to be honest with myself, I've got to say it, but you see these channels, you know, with cracker-looking Sheilas, don't get me wrong, that, you know, go from naught to bloody 30,000, 100,000 subscribers almost overnight, and you know, that's how it is, I get it, and everyone likes to, you know, have a look at an attractive girl. You know, that I get a bit disillusioned by that, and I remember thinking about it once and reading some of the comments. And, you know, the comments were pretty lewd, you know. 99% of the comments were mostly, I suppose, had a little bit of sexual orientation even. I don't know whether I should be saying that, but you know what I mean, guys. You know, like, I don't know how you go from where you just start out, you know, really just with a small sum of money and an older car, and then in the blink of an eye you're driving a 78 series with a full canopy set up and $140,000, $180,000 off-road van. Where does 220, 230 grand come from? I don't know how that can happen, you know, whether it happens through a channel or not, or sponsors. And I suppose I've become a bit disillusioned by that, because there's only a couple that I follow that have actually come out and been really open and honest about that whole financial side of things and revenue generation on YouTubing and with, you know, selling stuff. My channel, I mean, I'm not even big enough to sell, to you know, have any, what do they call them, to have any merchandise, to have any merchandise to sell, you know. But I always said when I get to 5,000, you know, subscribers, I was going to get some stubbies, cool as the sand, some of those patches made up. But I'm obviously not interesting enough, you know. Or maybe there's too many people with just prospecting only channels, and maybe I don't show that I'm doing well. I don't know what it is. So, I mean, it is what it is. Am I a bit jealous? Yeah, I'm a bit jealous. Yeah, I must be getting old, because about 20 minutes of me sitting here, maybe 10 minutes, I don't know, but a period of me time sitting here jibber-jabbering, I wasn't even recording. So in saying that, the elephant in the room that is going to have the greatest impact on my channel is this whole digital ID thing, you know, I think it's just government BS. Some of the government officials, you know, some of the other government or politicians, you know, say the same. So this whole, you know, under 16 restriction is just BS as far as I'm concerned. I would call it an over 16 invasion of complete privacy. You know, like, if this digital ID goes ahead, I think, you know, you won't be able to make a comment without the government knowing exactly who you are, where you are, what your home address is. You know, by all means, you know, for all I know, you might even have to, it might even be your telephone number, but the days will come, I think, where you say something against the government and next thing there'll be somebody knocking on the door. You know, if you have a shot at elbow, which a lot of people are at the moment, I think the day will come, if we're talking about digital currency and digital ID, where you make a comment against the government, and if the government doesn't like it, whether it's true or not, because they want to be the only source of BS, and you know, you make a comment and the next thing they'll be knocking on your door, the police will be there with a warrant to arrest. Freedom of speech is one of the greatest things that we should you know, we have in this country, and we may have to sacrifice that the way things are going, but freedom of speech gives me the ability to talk about what I believe in without having a shot at individuals. I'm not trying to, you know, talk about an individual and make them look like they're doing something they're not, or they are something they're not, or consequently continuing my channel, or anybody running a YouTube channel, in fact anybody putting anything on social media over the age of 16, and that's what it's about. It's got nothing to do with controlling or protecting the under 16s. I'm not even sure how the government can force Google to have to implement this. They're telling they're going to fine them, I don't know, $10 million if they don't. Why would Google care? They're not an Australian company. Why would they care? They just laugh at Australia. If I was the owner of Google, I'd just be laughing, saying, well, yeah, try it, good luck with that, I'm a US company, come after me. They don't care. So Google, if you're watching, tell Australia to get stuffed, and all your other channels too, all your other media channels too. Tell them you're not copping it. You're not going to spend $1 million putting in technology that has to do all this BS. So it's the old fella getting wound up a bit. I got very sidetracked then, but I'm very passionate about it, and I do not want to comply to a digital ID to be able to use social media, and I shouldn't be forced to have a digital ID for banking, for mail services. Those two things alone should not require a digital ID authentication. It's just best. Anyway, I'm one of those, I do not comply. I don't want a digital ID, and I don't want digital currency, and I'll do everything I can to not have it. Call me crazy, you know, call me old-fashioned, no, but guys, you know, like, that's my beliefs, and that's, I don't stand alone. There's politicians with the same point of view. They know what's going on. But it is probably the greatest reason that, or the greatest impact that something might have to my channel, because if I'm forced to go down digital ID path just for YouTube or just for multimedia, I'm going to give it away, because I'm not going to, I won't comply, guys. You know, it's just who I am, and what I believe. You know, I don't know whether this video is going to be a shock to to people that follow me. It's well off track. It's well left field. Oh, it's not even in the football ground of episodes I normally have up. But guys, I don't want any BS on my channel. I want to keep it as real as I can. And if I need to do this so you understand me better and you know where I'm coming from, and you don't go away wondering you know, going, oh, Mike's a bit of a wanky, just stop putting videos up on the channel, you know, like, what's this about? You know, I've got to keep it real, guys, for myself more than anybody else. But I hope you see my point. I hope you don't hammer me. I hope I don't suddenly lose 300 subscribers, and hopefully I might gain a few more. Wow, what a video. I went places I never intended to go, but I'll be thinking long and hard about it, actually. But now you may be watching it, which means I thought long and hard, and I decided to edit it up and post it. I put my beer there because, in having said all of that, and with all the distractions and the noise and me forgetting to press the record, and there's that crow again, get out, and me forgetting to press the record button, that's it. That is the old fella signing out. See you, team. Don't forget, some reviews coming up. Oh, and my last prospecting video too. Cheers, team. Whew. That's the old fella signing out. Yeah, mate.
Saw you walking by today, with the sunset in your eyes. I couldn't find the strength to say what was running through my mind. You couldn't help but notice me, staring with that awkward smile from the other side of Thompson Street. I felt love for a little while.